I would like to thank our chairpersons and our speakers for the previous session. Our chairpersons, Professor Abraham Cherian and Dr. Selvarajanan, and our speakers, Dr. Umesh G. and Professor Balabhaskar and Professor Gopinath. Thank you, sirs. I would like to make a few announcements. Delegates would kindly collect their workshop and registration certificates at the registration counter. Also, delegates registered after August 10th and those spot registered will kindly take note that the Tamil Nadu Dr. MGR Medical University CME credit points will be available only through post, provided that they give their address details and 50 rupees for postal charges at the registration counter. The Tamil Nadu Dr. MGR Medical University CME credit points will be available only through post, provided they give their address details and rupees 50 for postal charges at the registration counter. This applies for those delegates registered after August 10th and those who are spot registered. Faculties who have not uploaded their presentations are requested to do so soon in the preview room backstage, found to the left side of the auditorium. Thank you very much. I would like to introduce and welcome our chairpersons for the next session. I would like to welcome Dr. Bhimeshwar, who is the National ISA Secretary. Welcome, sir. I would also like to welcome Professor SSC Chakra Rao. He is the National President-elect for ISA 2013. He is also the Managing Director of Care Emergency Hospital in Kakinadu, Andhra Pradesh. We welcome you, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. I request Dr. Tamarao. He is a senior advisor, University Health Coverage, former mission director, State Health Mission, Pondicherry, former director, Indira Gandhi Medical College and Research Institute, former director of Health and Family Welfare, and his areas of interest are hospital and health sector, planning and management for healthcare, education and training of medical nursing and allied health services. Dr. Tamarao.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Yeah. Well, when it is getting ready, I was pleasantly surprised when the organizers, Buddy and others, asked me to talk on the scenario of the availability of anesthesia services. Of course, it is something interesting, of real interest for all of us, because I always felt we are all anesthetists, we are quite committed to our work, we are very well disciplined. But ISA has done a lot of things, and the only thing always missing is we don't make our lives much more comfortable by thinking on the administrative side much. We all know, so I will take a few slides on these things. Well, I will start off with my first slide, probably a food for thought, you can say. Do we have required anesthetists in all the districts? Do we have adequately trained anesthetists? Do we have adequately trained supportive staff? Do we have the mechanisms to ensure their trainings for anesthetists and the supportive staff? Do we have appropriate distribution of available anesthetists and others? So I can see a lot of heads going across. We all know, but how much of us spare little time on this? Managing or planning. I mean, I have seen the sessions, really we do spend a lot of time on technical sessions, We have progressed as anesthetists, we have bifurcated from surgeons, we have further bifurcated as pediatrics, this, that and all. But the basic things over the years still remain the problems across the states, across the districts, across the hospitals. Well, if you want the answers, we cannot see, because anesthetists are produced from a pool of MBBS doctors. So we cannot think in isolation. So first of all, if we start thinking on that, as a country, what is the availability of doctors in India? Poor 0.65 in India compared to China 1.4. Sri Lanka 0.4, but they have surpassed in some other way. Cuba, you see, 10 times of India, availability of doctors. USA and the UK are more or that is the accepted number one should have. Nurses, we expect 1:3 nurses in the country. When you have 1:3 nurses only, you will get in the operation theatres adequate nurses. But this fundamental also how we have progressed in last few years. It is a mind-boggling for us. India is not a simple, it is a country of several nations. If you take our Uttar Pradesh, it has got 3% of the world population. Forget about it. And 5th most populous country in the world. If you take the first 6 states in India, it is 11% of the world population. So we are planning here in a huge manner. Always there will be something wanted. You see, like Kerala, it is only 0.3% of the world population, which is equivalent to Canada. Whereas Karnataka, some of them are here, it is equivalent to UK. Tamil Nadu is equivalent to Congo. And UP is equivalent to Brazil, which is one of the largest countries. Well, when we talk about production of our human resources, we have to think of the socio-economics. This I will go very quickly. You see, Kerala, it has got a life expectancy of 74. Fantastic. But with that, the problem for anesthesia comes as 12% very elderly persons with anesthetic problems will have more issues on that. So the anesthetist in Kerala has to think more on those lines. Well, if you take the beds, the availability of beds, Andhra has got 8.5 crores of population. Kerala has got 3.3 crores of population. What is the beds availability? Andhra has got only 38,000 and Kerala has got 32,000 or 33,000. So disparities are available everywhere as we developed. So when you develop more rationally, you will have much better equity. Well, I'll skip this. See, usually health system works on 4 parameters: our development, our availability of human resources. So infrastructure, without that, none of us anesthetists can work. If we don't have proper assistants to help us in the OT or post-op period, all this we can't work. Of course, funds are always required. Professor Gopinath just said, if it is approved in the common tender, you get that drug. Yes, these are all the funds. Question, and governance. We are good in governance of our own people, but still it is a lot. Well, always there are gaps. If you take the gaps, you have the needs. What is it? First, infrastructure. The gap has been reduced over the past 6 decades quite considerably. Drugs and supply positions have been, when we were basically in 70s, it is like, halogen is out of question. We are doing with ether because money is not there. Now the things have changed. The availability of drugs and supplies and all. We talk of so many catheters, this and all. Well, then funds have improved. Trained staff, yes. Now we have much more larger number of anesthetists across, even in South Zone. I was told that we have got about 17,000 and odd, probably. So earlier it was hardly anything. All over India, when we organized the first, I think when I was a final year student in Lucknow, the whole India, we had 2,000 members of ISA. So now where we have grown up, we have grown quite big, but still we have issues. Quality is the last one which will come, so you will have the maximum gap. You see, at national level, in a National Health System Resource Center as a senior advisor, we have done, I mean, personally, I got these studies done. When these things are done, see, the quality of nursing training, if you will really look at it, the basics, newborn resuscitation, 50% of the nursing students who had GNM training, they were not independently competent to do even newborn resuscitation. Immunization, again, very low. Conducting delivery, low. BSc, also much more, not much difference. So this is the way we stand. The studies were done only about 4 years back. So we end up with nurses who are not adequately trained. Well, if you go into the next one, something. I think, buddy, it has got stuck or... Well,